if we could address you directly right now.
Everything comes full circle.
That's number one.
I don't tell him what questions to ask me.
There are a lot of people around town that have the same question.
Brush my teeth. I'm a good watch in the morning.
I can't confirm or deny.
You know, just keep going a little bit longer here, Mike. Keep going a little bit longer.
And radio. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome into Newhouse Afternoon. I'm Ari Feinstein alongside Maria Wainscott and Jacob Charnow. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, on this beautiful Friday afternoon. First things first, we might as well jump right into it. I'm not feeling the love from Syracuse basketball, men's basketball or women's basketball this season. Guys, brutal loss to Miami. Give me your first thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I am not loving what's going on in this Syracuse basketball program, both the men's and women's side. We'll start with the men's, I guess. I mean, what went wrong is the big question. 11-14 record, 14th in the ACC, just really not what anybody expected coming into this season under Coach Autry and all these guys coming in. I mean, this was a very exciting season. Before the season, I mean, we were all very excited about, you know, a lot of different players, this new coaching staff, all of that. When I look at it, one of the biggest issues is that we don't have the guy. There's not a guy on this team that can take over, be that guy, and single-handedly win games. And I understand that that's not going to happen, especially, you know, you're looking at the season without Judah Mintz. But in terms of guys who have played every game, so excluding J.J. Starling, who's only played 18 out of the 25 games, averaging 18 points per game, out of the guys who have played every game, Eddie Lampkin can't be your leading scorer averaging 10 points per game. That just can't happen. You're not going to win basketball games like that, and obviously it shows on the tape.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the guys that have to be our guys are always delivering. We had J.J. Starling and Eddie Lampkin Jr. both exceeding 20 points in this game, but they shouldn't have to, right? If the offense is operating the way that it should, the ball should be more spread evenly. And I think if we could really pinpoint the issue, Coach Autry said it best after the game. He said that the defense lacked effort. And as sad as that is to recognize at this point in the season, it's unfortunately true. Coach Autry said, obviously very disappointed. It falls on me. We played with no defense. We just showed up today, and we gave up 90 points. We talked about what we needed to do, and we didn't do it. It had nothing to do with anything else but our effort and our defense. We didn't do that at all today. And I think that that's a strong effort from Coach Autry, just seeing how much his team just needs to pick themselves back up after this.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're sounding like a broken record. I feel like every single show, the team takes one step forward. They have a good win against like Cal, for example, which might not even be a good win. It's just a regular conference win. But then they just take 10 steps back. I mean, that Duke game was horrendous. The Miami game, even more embarrassing. It's just one step forward, and it's not 2 steps back. It's 10 steps back. And I want to go back to what you said about not having the guy. Donnie Freeman, unfortunately, was supposed to be that guy this season. Obviously, it didn't end the way we wanted it to with him getting hurt and being out for the rest of the season. But something to look forward to for next season is that Syracuse might have a lot of different guys. You know, if Donnie Freeman decides to stay, which is pretty up in the air, we're not really sure where he's going to end up, whether he comes back or decides to enter the transfer portal. But we have guys like Kyan Anthony coming. Sadiq White could be that guy. But let's say Donnie Freeman does decide to come back, then those are 3 really solid options and give Syracuse fans maybe another glimpse of hope for this season, whether or not, like, pick me up here.
I mean, yeah, we're always looking ahead with this team, and you know, we look ahead to their next game against UNC. Probably going to be ugly when you look at it just matchup-wise. UNC has the second-ranked scoring offense in the ACC. We have the second worst defense in the ACC. It's probably not going to go how we want it to. But I want to kind of flip this back into a question for both of you. In terms of what went wrong, what specifically would you guys say that there is to fix heading into next season with this team? If you were to pick one glaring issue, I mean, I have my answer.
Yeah, I have mine. I just don't know how well it'll go over, honestly.
I have my answer. I don't necessarily think that it's a leadership issue in terms of coaching, but I just think it might be a scheme issue. I really do. And I think that this game, you look at Coach Autry, he's coming down from the Coach Boeheim tree, obviously, and he obviously cares a lot about this program and this school, but either they're going to have to bring in a lot of different guys that can play in this sort of play this kind of basketball, or you might have to move in a different direction, and that's just the reality of the situation. This team had Coach Boeheim for however many years, and now when you look at basketball and college basketball as a whole, it's a tough job to keep, and it's a revolving door kind of industry. Yeah. And I think that's the unfortunate situation that Wildtack and the crew are in right now.
Yeah, I feel like this year I was really hoping to see a formed identity from Coach Autry, and I think that's what's still lacking. I think if I could pinpoint sort of the area that Syracuse needs to hone in on next year is for Coach Adrian Autry and his recruiting staff to go out and find the guys that align with his ideals and morals. He always says in any sort of post-game press conference, post-game interview, I need my guys to play tough if they didn't play tough, or I'm really proud of their effort. They played tough today. If you're not finding guys who align with those morals and ideals that are willing to play tough, go to the floor every game for you, we're not going to have a winning culture here. And as much as you can preach that to the audience, to the local media, we're not going to believe it unless you see the wins and see the results. And I just don't think they've figured it out yet. I don't think they have the right guys, the right combination. And I do think Donnie Freeman could have been that guy. And we did see flashes of him being that guy, but there's still so much work to be done with this team.
And look, coming from someone who just watched Robert Saleh coach my football team for the last however many years, there's a difference between passion and caring and coach speak. And I think that a lot of what we hear in the media from Coach Autry is coach speak. And there's obvious, like he cares about this program, like I just said, right? But at a point, there has to be some sort of production out of it. No matter how much you care about this team, you need to be able to do something with it. And like you said, I think that lack of formed identity is a huge issue, and a glaring issue in the program right now too.
One comparison that I want to make is I think about the 2022 New York Giants, right? 2023 New York Giants under Coach Dable. The season didn't go well, but the players were still bought in, and they ended up having a 3-game winning streak against the Packers. They beat, I forget the other two teams, but those players were bought into their coach despite their losing record. So do you think, this is kind of going to be a pretty tricky question here, do you think that Autry has maybe lost the locker room a little bit? What do you think?
It's really confusing as a fan and as honestly just a spectator and media individual. I think I see flashes of Coach Adrian Autry having that camaraderie with the guys, sort of that locker room trust, especially in games where they're tight matchups. It's Boston College, Syracuse here at the Dome, night game, tight game the entire 2 halves. And then we play a 3 overtime game, right? And Syracuse fights. They fight for their coach. They fight for each other. They deserve to be there. They don't want to lose that game at home. And I see flashes of that grit, which is amazing. And I think it's an indication of that locker room culture and that grittiness. But then there are games like I watched, most recently. Their worst loss of the season happened Tuesday night, 91-84 against Miami, the worst team in the ACC. How can you let that happen? And there were so many key points in the game where if you execute, you're not in the hole that we've been talking about digging themselves out of so many games in a row. So, I just can't tell if he has that sort of connection piece in the locker room that you mentioned.
And to a point, you got to ask yourself, what is the benchmark for this team? If you're going into next season and really not changing that much, what is the benchmark? Because Syracuse has a long history of college basketball success, obviously. And this is probably the most disappointing season that I've seen since I've been at this school. And I think a lot of people will agree that this might be one of the more disappointing seasons in the last decade. So do you want to take this school back to the top of the ACC and back to the pinnacle of college basketball where they're making the tournament every single year? Or do we want to keep coming on here and talking about what next season is going to be like?
And one thing that I want to point out in the grand scheme of things, big picture, is that Jim Boeheim's worst season as Syracuse head coach was 16-17. 16-17. How many years did Coach Boeheim coach this basketball squad? For a long time.
Really
long time.
And the fact that he only went under 500 once, and it's what, Coach Autry's second year, and he's going to fall most likely below that 500 benchmark. It's not great. And Syracuse also, they have a chance to not even make the ACC tournament anymore. This year it's a new format with more teams, and the lowest 3 teams don't make the ACC tournament.
Right.
So Syracuse is at I think they're 4th to last right now. So if they keep up their losing, this is going to be the first year ever, right, where they don't make the ACC tournament.
So it's funny because not only did we bring up that stat on our last show where the graduating senior class is the first one since like 1972 to not have seen a tournament appearance. Now they're going to be graduating without an ACC tournament in their last year here.
Right.
Yeah.
That is insane to me. That is pretty unbelievable, and it's this team, and I will confidently say that this basketball program needs a culture shock.
Yeah, well, that grit's going to be tested this Saturday. UNC is coming to the Dome, and they want it bad. The one thing I will say briefly before we head to break is just the fact that UNC does not have as many bigs on their roster as they've had in years past, and that's one thing that Syracuse does have, Eddie Lampkin. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully a positive outcome at Saturday in the Dome.
It's going to be tough, though, because UNC, they're still fighting for a tournament bid.
Absolutely.
They're going to be hungry. Syracuse has to be ready. We'll see if they could turn it around. But
momentum.
Coming up after the break, speaking of momentum, men's and women's lacrosse is on fire right now. We'll be right back.
Syracuse basketball head coach.
Sorry, we completely missed women's hoops.
That's fine. We can talk about women's hoops briefly, too.
We got into it, though.
Oh, you're good. We can.
That was kind of an unfair question for me to ask.
Oh, no, you're good.
Losing the locker room, because
I didn't
technically,
feel any of that.
Technically, how are we supposed to know? You know?
Right. I'm gonna turn myself up just a little bit because I can't hear myself quite well. It was totally fine. Hello. That's way better for me. Okay. I'm going to mention something quickly with women's basketball before we dive into the way more exciting men's and women's lacrosse. Just talking about how with men's basketball, clearly we mentioned the problem was the defense against Miami. The issue with Syracuse women's basketball is offense. Yeah. And that's a quick, tidbit, and then we can move on from that. That's an easier thing to improve. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, what is a fun Valentine's Day topic we can talk about while we're on our stream right now? I don't know if anyone is watching us.
Favorite chocolate?
Oh, yes. Do you have a favorite Valentine's Day candy?
Ooh, I mean,
does that even count?
Do you guys prefer peanut butter and chocolate?
Yes.
Or caramel and chocolate?
Peanut butter and chocolate.
You're a caramel? I think I gotta go
peanut butter is my favorite food of all time.
Really?
So,
I used to love caramel and chocolate.
It's still delicious. I love it.
I still like it, but
I'm a massive Twix guy.
Yeah, Twix are gas.
I love Twix.
Milky Way is good too.
Milky Way is great.
Those have caramel in it.
Yes,
right?
they do.
Yeah.
Would you pick chocolate over fruit?
No, I wouldn't.
Wait,
I'm a huge fruit guy. I'm a massive fruit guy.
Like if you go to an ice cream store, would you rather get a raspberry sorbet or would you rather get a chocolate?
Definitely that.
Okay. So
I would take fruit over a chocolate bar though.
Interesting.
I think
I feel like there's two different. For dessert, would you have mixed fruit or chocolate?
It depends what
this
kind
is
of
crazy.
chocolate. Depends what kind of chocolate.
Wait, hold on. Are we just talking about regular? Are we talking about regular fruit like grapes, bananas, and strawberries?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Or
I was talking
are you
about, would
like
you prefer like a
chocolate dipped fruits or just
Ooh,
regular?
chocolate dipped fruit is good.
that might be
We can
the
meet. We
one.
can meet in the
In the
middle with
middle.
some
Wait,
chocolate covered strawberries.
so you were talking about just like regular fruits?
Yeah.
He was. I was asking like
dude,
fruit
yeah.
flavored
Rather-
things
you'd
versus
rather-
chocolate
I'm not a
flavored
huge. I'm also
things.
not a huge chocolate guy.
Oh, dude, come on, you're missing out.
I'm just.
I have
not.
an M&M
I'm just
M&M
not.
drawer in my house. I'm
know.
always
Just like
got
loose
that.
M&Ms.
Oh yeah,
That's
big
sick.
time.
Yeah,
Just grab handfuls.
I like have a candy jar like in my apartment, and like I loved when I was growing up. Like my mom always had that, and I was like, oh great, like people can come in and have them. Well, now I realize that I live with just me. It's like, who's eating that? It's
Right,
just
and
me.
then they're gone.
And then they're gone. And
They're
I'm like, I
gone.
can't blame it on anyone else.
Oh, when I
That
take
was
like
just me.
because we keep it like an open huge bag of M&Ms in
Yeah,
my house.
I love that for
and
you.
like I just take like scoops at a time. But
Love
whenever
that.
we're running low, I just put the blame on my brother.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
I mean, it was definitely always him that's eating it, not
Do
me.
you believe that M&Ms taste different depending on the holiday, like Merry Christmas M&Ms or like holiday M&Ms? Like, do you think they taste different than regular M&Ms? I do personally. I
Like,
think like
the
the
4th of-
Valentine's
like the
Day
four-
ones.
Are we back?
No, we're good.
Not yet.
We're getting so excited.
The 4th of July. The 4th
Cool.
of July M&Ms.
Yep.
And like those ones are gas, even though they're just normal M&Ms. But like it's just the colors.
I love
Maybe
the
the red,
colors.
white, and
Maybe
blue.
they don't taste different, but I think
Yeah,
they do.
the colors taste different. The blue one's always
Definitely.
the best. Even like Scooby snacks too.
Oh, that's a completely different story.
Those like cloudy blue Scooby snacks, like the gummies.
Like this frosted
Yeah.
see-through, like not see-through ones. Oh, they're so good. Oh,
What would that
childhood
what would that color even be called?
cotton candy blue.
Is
I'm not sure.
That was probably not a good.
cloudy
Robin's
cloudy
egg.
blue? Robin's egg. The Robin's egg Scooby snacks.
I love it.
ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome back to Newhouse Afternoon. I'm Ari Feinstein alongside Maria Wainscott and Jacob Charnow. This hour of Newhouse Afternoon is powered by Drivers Village Cicero. Go to dvoffers.com for more info. Guys, we talked about the men's basketball team losing some momentum, but before we jump into teams that have had all the momentum, Syracuse men's lacrosse and women's lacrosse, let's take a step back real quick and talk about women's basketball. Maria, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so I know it's Valentine's Day and we should be talking about all the things that we love, but my relationship with Syracuse women's basketball is off to a rocky patch right now, guys. Syracuse women's basketball fell to Stanford 79-58 last night inside Maples Pavilion in Stanford, California. The loss ended a 2-game winning streak for Syracuse in the ACC, which was a big deal. They were riding high on momentum. It was their first back-to-back ACC wins all season long. They won one on the road and then one at home. So it wasn't like they were incapable of winning an ACC road match. The real problem, though, for the Orange last night was scoring. The defense actually leveled up in terms of aggression. I know Coach Jack preaches about that constantly, just defense being her religion and trying to inflict that on the girls as well. But there was just so many mistakes when it came to scoring. SU shot just 26% from beyond the arc and 33.8% from the field. And that pretty much tells you all you need to know. Stanford hasn't had, the star-studded season that they were supposed to have this season, but they definitely shot way better than Syracuse did. And I think Coach Jack summed it up quite well in the post-game. Stanford shot the ball with confidence, and we did not today. Coach Jack also said, "We shot the ball with desperation. We shot it like we had to catch up, and we weren't that far behind."
Maria, it sounds like you're definitely out of the honeymoon phase
Yes.
when it comes to Syracuse women's basketball.
100%.
After being with them all season long.
Yes.
It has definitely been a tough season for them. FLJ, though, I still have all the trust in the world with her. She's such a leader for
absolutely.
the squad. She doesn't, like Jacob likes to say, she doesn't lose the culture of the locker room. That's Jacob's big word.
I'm a big culture guy.
culture.
I'm a massive culture
Yeah.
guy. I will say, because you look at these locker rooms and this is what I always compare it to. If I see the locker room, if I see a video of like one of the players in the locker room after a game, whether it be a win or a loss, I want that locker room better be together.
Yeah.
And when you look at this women's basketball team, that locker room is together after this game, and it is because of their coach.
They're fantastic. I'm so glad you said that because the culture is palpable. Every time I'm there for shoot around at 9 in the morning or, going to
Maria,
the practice
you
center.
getting your shots up out there?
No, absolutely not. No one wants to see me shoot. Absolutely not. Coach Jack would be jumping down my back, asking me to leave the court. I'm disrespecting the defense for sure. But I love Syracuse women's basketball through and through. Anytime I listen to Coach Jack and just interview her pregame for something, she just makes me want to run through a brick wall. Seriously, I was talking to her about the Wake Forest matchup that happened over the weekend on Sunday, and even though Wake Forest, right, it was not necessarily the toughest opponent of all time, she said they're coming into our house. She's like, they want to eat. No one gets to eat in my house other than my kids. Mm-hmm. And I just love that, right? And I was like, you know what? I want to go out there. I want to go out there. I don't even know how to play basketball. No, really. She's fantastic.
The Dan Campbell of women's college basketball.
Yes.
She's just fantastic. And it's just a matter of time before Syracuse women's basketball is up there competing for a national title. And I am saying it right here and right now. I know that with confidence. Coach Felicia Leggett-Jack is as good as they come.
And look, I'm a glass half empty kind of guy, so I'll say,
come on.
No, I will absolutely sing the praises of Coach Jack. But this team is 10-14 and 4-9 in the ACC, and at a point you got to start winning those big games, right? Congratulations, you beat FDU, go Knights, by the way. You beat Yale, right? You beat Dartmouth, you beat Binghamton. You have to win these ACC games. And while this season might be a wash at this point, I do agree with you when you say that this team is going to be competing, if not next year, then very, very soon, and it is going to be under Coach Jack.
Yeah, I agree completely. Syracuse, they continue their Bay Area road trip when they're competing against Cal. They're 20-6, so it's going to be a tough one, but tip-off is scheduled for 3 p.m. Coming up this weekend. It'll be one to watch.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned it that this team will be competing for a national title, whether it's next year or the year after. But two teams that are going to be competing this year for a national title is that men's and women's lacrosse team. The men are 3-0. And let me just tell you, they are disgusting.
They're so good.
They're disgusting.
They're actually
good.
disgusting.
They are, oh my gosh, the goals that you see out of this team are electric. You think that it's goal of the year, every single goal, making these flashy plays, having a good time out there.
Yeah.
And they have so many weapons on offense. If I'm a defensive coordinator for an opposing team, I just say good luck, guys.
I don't know how to attack them.
They have 55 goals in 3 games.
Remember that record you were asking us about 2 weeks ago, if Joey Spallina was going to top his record, most goals?
He'll do it.
Oh my gosh. Why were we even hesitating to respond when you asked that question? I mean, this team is firing on all cylinders.
Look, I mean, for me to say that I am excited for a lacrosse game coming into college would have been, blasphemous for me to say. At this point, right now, this game tomorrow that they have against Maryland, number 6 ranked against number 2 ranked, this is going to be a battle on the road for Joey Spallina and this squad. It's going to be a really, really fun game, and I will absolutely be watching it at 2 p.m.
Joey Spallina has 21 points in 3 games, averaging 7, which is ridiculous in the grand scheme of things. But you mentioned that this game for Joey Spallina is a big one because last season we saw against Denver and throughout the NCAA tournament is that he was getting shut down by these big teams, right? So him going into Maryland and having a big game could put all those question marks to rest and say, hey, I'm that big player that Syracuse recruited me for, and I'm going to make my teammates better against one of the best teams in the nation. He has all the momentum riding for him right now, and guys, I cannot wait to watch tomorrow afternoon.
And look, when you look at the schedule, there's 2 huge circles on 2 games on the schedule, and it's Maryland tomorrow and Johns Hopkins in March. And if Joey Spallina can not have those sort of questions heading into that game against Johns Hopkins, I'll like their chances a lot better in that game as well. But I'll throw an early prediction. I think they're going to walk in there and take care of business in College Park tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they're really excited to hopefully to match up against a team that's really worthy, not to undermine Towson, not to undermine, Jacksonville, right? Great opponents. And I think even though this team didn't need it, those were 2 great games for Syracuse to kind of get their feet underneath them and kind of figure out an offensive rotation, even though they didn't really need to, right? What was it, 18 different goal scorers in the first game, multiple goals scored by 8 different Syracuse offenders. Really exciting stuff. But I think that these guys are going to walk in there tomorrow and take care of business, like Jacob said, not just because they can, but also because there's a history there, right? So the Orange are seeking their first win in College Park against Maryland. In forever. It's been since 1995. And they haven't beaten the Terps since an 11-6 win during the 2009 NCAA Division I quarterfinals in Hampstead, New York. So going in and taking care of business against Maryland in their house. There's some history there, but I have all the confidence in the world that they have the talent to do it.
And another thing that I want to point out about Towson, their last game, is that Towson was a ranked opponent. They're a top 20 team.
Yeah.
And they played Syracuse pretty well. I think it was 13-8 or 13-7 heading into the fourth quarter. I think it was closer than that, maybe. Syracuse had 7 goals in the fourth quarter, gave up nothing to Towson. They locked them down. They showed that they're a defensive team, and when they need to step up, they do and get the job done. Sure, Spallina has had a great season so far, 21 points in 3 games, but Owen Hiltz, 15 points in 3 games.
Yeah.
Michael Leo, 9 points in 3 games. Luke Roa, 8 points in 3 games. And Finn Thompson, 8 points in 3 games. 3 games. I'm saying it over and over and over again because it's just remarkable what this team has done so far against these opponents. I feel bad for the opposing coaches, like I mentioned, but this is what Syracuse fans can expect. If they want to make it to Memorial Day weekend at the end of this season, they're going to need to keep up this production, show up against top opponents, and they got a tough schedule, like you mentioned, coming up. Maryland, then they have Harvard, Utah, and then Johns Hopkins. It's going to be brutal for this team, but if there's any team that can get it done, it is this Syracuse men's team. But another team that's having a solid season are the women. They are 1-0 and off to a good start. They're getting production from literally everyone, just like the men. Olivia Adamson, 6 points. Emma Ward, 5 points. Emma Munchnick, I mentioned how she needed to play a bigger role this season with Emma Tyrell leaving. She had a great game with 3 points. And even Alexa Vogelman, the freshman, showing out and producing with 3 points. The women are off and rolling on their season. They've only played 1 game, but I'm really excited to see what they do in the future.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely talk a bit more about the women right before our next break.
Yep. After the break, we will come back and discuss some of the best things that we saw this past weekend. Could be Syracuse or U.S. sports related. We'll be right back.
No Champions League.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely talk about.
My bad.
No, you're fine. We'll definitely talk about the women a little bit too. I know you have some more stuff to say about them.
No, it's okay.
In the next segment.
I just wanted to make.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure that we got that break in.
Are we allowed to, Jordan? We're allowed to go overtime, right? As long as we're still get a break.
As long as you're done by 55.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that.
Oh. Wait, like
as long as we're done at 2:55.
Yeah, as long as our ultimate end time is stays the same.
But do we need? How long do the breaks need to be in between? Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Commercials are all 4 minutes and 40 seconds. We literally couldn't care less how long your individual segments go as long as you're out on time.
Cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to wrap you. I was just like, wait, let me wrap us.
No,
just
you're totally
in case
you're totally
we have
fine.
to be out.
I'll put it this way, if people end certain segments earlier and make more the same, we're not going to say anything if it's easier, but like a traditional sports talk radio show will probably go a little longer on the first segment, and then the end will be quicker. Like the ESPN radio clocks are crazy. I think the national shows were 20 to 25 minutes the first segment, and they added 5 minutes at the end, so
Cool.
Oh, all right. Gotcha. Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all.
We can come back and add anything else we need with women.
No, it's totally fine. I'm excited for the next stuff. For the best thing we saw.
I gotta find
best thing we saw this week. I'm gonna go off of whatever you guys have seen.
What have I seen?
I love sports.
What have I seen this week?
There's a lot.
Come on.
I mean, I like fruit as like more of a breakfast option than.
I just love fruit.
dessert.
I'm just a massive fruit guy.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever like eat do you guys know like the Rice Krispie treat theory?
No, tell me.
That like if you eat it before a workout, then you get like a better pump.
I've heard that.
What?
I have heard that.
Yeah, it's actually like a true thing. I'm pretty
I
sure.
love Rice Krispie treats.
too.
Yeah, me too.
I can confirm.
I love.
That's a real thing, right? I'm not just making that up.
Wait, why is that? What's in a Rice Krispie treat? Is it just the fact that it's like pure carb that gives you like the energy that
I
you
have
need
no
to
idea.
go?
It's got to be the marshmallows.
I don't understand.
It's got to be the marshmallows. Right.
Heck yeah, I love that.
See, the thing is like I don't understand carbs because they say that they are supposed to boost your energy, but anytime I eat like a hamburger, like I just want to take a nap.
Yeah,
So I think we need to like break that down a little bit.
I do too.
The carb. And protein does the same, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just getting brainwashed by whatever they're telling me about nutrition.
Everyone's always
Yeah,
lying.
protein.
Yeah, now apparently like whey protein isn't good for you, and like plant
Everything
protein
is-
is.
everything is
That's
not good for you.
I guess Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, apparently.
Dude, my body's cooked then. I have like whey protein like every day.
Yeah, everyone does. Like it's insane. Whatever.
Cool.
Didn't charge my phone last night.
Jacob, do you have the best thing that you saw this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too. I finally
mine's-
have it, but I'm not telling you what it is.
Oh, I knew it was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be that.
How did you know?
I just read about that like before.
This is so cool.
I didn't see that. I didn't see it.
Jordan, you will not know beforehand. It will
That's
be a
gotta be
surprise for
scary.
Jordan.
Okay.
That's got to be scary for you, Jordan. You have no idea what we're about to. You have no idea what we're about to talk about.
Surprise! You'll be okay.
Sean Puffy Combs on the air. I think I need you guys to respond.
Are you serious?
That's what you think. That's what you.
Careful what you say.
Somebody mentioned that.
Oh my god. Okay, after the show you have to tell us in what context.
Today, broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University, this is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome back to Newhouse Afternoon. I'm Ari Feinstein alongside Maria Wainscott and Jacob Charnow. Guys, we wrapped up with Syracuse men's and women's lacrosse. So let's take a step back from Syracuse athletics and talk about a little bit what's going on around the U.S. with our different leagues, Major League Baseball, NHL, anything that we want to talk about. Maria, I'm going to start with you. This is a new segment that we like to call Best Thing We Saw Last Week and just go over it, break it all down. Maria, start us off. What is the best thing that you saw in sports this past week?
The best thing I saw in sports was that Noah Lyles finally agreed to race Tyreek Hill after months and months of trash talk. And for those of you who watched the Olympics this summer, you know that this has been going on forever. Noah Lyles, fastest man on earth, received some hate from Tyreek Hill, saying he could beat him in a foot race. And at first it was all fun and games on Twitter, but I think Noah Lyles has had enough. I think he knows that it's time, and he tweeted out actually yesterday, it's time to end this debate. And Tyreek Hill retweeted, time to shut your mouth and take your lunch money. So I think it's officially happening. ESPN has posted this on their main page that the location and distance are yet to be determined. Hill playfully told people that Lyles was scared to compete in a 40-meter race, while Lyles said 100 meters would be a blowout. So I think they'll meet somewhere in the middle, and hopefully we'll have something fun to look forward to this summer.
Are we going to do analysis on this race right now?
Sure.
I mean, I'll say I was anti-Noah Lyles after that whole thing with the U.S. basketball the Olympic team.
Sure.
You guys stop talking about you guys play for the same country.
Yes,
what is going on
we're on
here?
the same team.
We're all on the same team here, but I am a big fan of Tyreek Hill, and so I will be rooting for Tyreek Hill in that race.
I see.
Realistically, Tyreek Hill has no shot, right?
Right, Tyreek Hill
way.
doesn't even he doesn't even win races against other NFL. He almost lost to Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Seriously.
I don't see Tyreek coming close to Noah Lyles.
He won't.
He is the.
Hey, but I always like an underdog.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you always love an underdog.
All right, I have two things.
But you also have to be realistic, real quick. You also have to be realistic.
Agreed.
All right, I have two things for the best thing that I've seen this week.
Let's hear it.
Here we go.
The first is I'm not a huge soccer guy. I've been trying to get more into it. A lot of my friends are soccer guys, but I will say the Real Madrid Man City Champions League match from what was that on Wednesday? Jude Bellingham coming down, scoring in the 91st, 92nd minute for Real Madrid. Like, that was an electric game to just put on. I put it on in like the 45th minute, right before it went to half, and it was awesome. Soccer is such a cool sport.
It's really cool.
Like, good soccer is really awesome. But I will say my favorite thing that happened this week was, or at least the biggest story, was the Jets announcing that they are officially parting ways with Aaron Rodgers after 2 years. So this Aaron Rodgers era with the Jets has been my personal living nightmare. So I'm okay with getting
hasn't essentially all of Jets fandom just been
my entire
your entire life has been
a nightmare.
No, it's been horrible.
I'm so sorry.
But now we can kind of look towards next season and then start finally trying to figure out those pieces, which is always exciting. Aaron Glenn coming in. I really like the staff that he brought in. Tanner, what's his name? Tanner Engstrand is our offensive coordinator coming from the Lions. Steve Wilkes, awesome defensive coordinator, awesome name, really respected coach around the league. And then I guess this is going to boil over into the next segment for sure too, but I guess we could talk about it a little bit now. Like, what do the Jets do at quarterback from here? Because the options are dwindling. They have the 7th pick in the draft, right? Chances are that those top 2 guys, I like to say top 3 because my guy is Jack Start, who is rising on those boards.
Yes, he is.
Him and McCord.
Yeah, both of them.
I mean, Kyle McCord, crazy passing metrics.
Yes.
I'll say that might be my favorite thing that I've seen this past week was Kyle McCord at the Senior Bowl was awesome.
Last year we did see a surprise at the draft with Michael Penix going number 8 overall to the Falcons, right? So I mean, everyone was shocked by that because I feel like nobody really knows draft boards besides like general managers, right? There's always I feel like even the professionals who study this, like they're always missing that one surprise guy that always sneaks into the top 10.
Todd McShay was not guessing Clelin Ferrell going 4th overall.
Yeah, or like
that was not happening.
Or Jahmyr Gibbs. Everyone was shocked when he went to the
and
Lions.
It shakes everything up. That's what they're not accounting for. They have all of these, Mel Gibbs projected draft pick, like. Yeah, that's great as long as 1, 2, and 3 go 1, 2, and 3. But as soon as we throw one guy in the mix, it messes everything up.
You have no idea.
Exactly.
Literally no idea.
Yeah, I am super excited for Kyle McCord, though. I think that's so excited for this. It's so exciting for this university. So exciting for us. I know we talk a lot about the woes of being a student at this time with Syracuse athletics, but I mean, I'm so excited for the Syracuse Orange NFL draft class.
I'm really excited for the draft. The draft is like my favorite thing of the year.
I love it.
Like, I'm so excited to just come on here and yap for an hour every other week about the draft before April. And I mean, I will say, from what I'm hearing, Kyle McCord could go a lot higher than people are expecting him to outside of this university.
Yeah, I'm so excited for him. So he was actually at the Shrine Bowl. I know LaQuint Allen Jr. was at the Senior Bowl. So we had representation, for the Orange in both games. And then the Hula Bowl, actually in Hawaii, Marlo Wax was there. So in all 3 of the biggest games, we had Orange representation, which was fantastic. And when I went to watch the Shrine Bowl, I was a little bummed because I was fully expecting to watch Kyle McCord, but he actually didn't play, just like Shadur. So that was a bummer that the top 2 quarterbacks who were there didn't actually play. But Shadur didn't even play in practice. He just was there. Like, he was just there to do media. Kyle did. He played in practice the entire week and actually he was obviously the all-practice East team quarterback. So he had the highest distinction in terms of honors as a practice quarterback can get. So it was really exciting to see that a lot of general managers, scouts, recruits were just so excited to see how well he performed. And I think it bodes really well for this university.
Marlo Wax, I think, is going to be a really good NFL player.
Yeah, he'll be fantastic.
I think in the right system, like, this guy's going to go somewhere, like, he's bouncy, like, he hits hard, like, he's going to be really good. He kind of reminds, like, the same, in terms of upside, the same way, like, when Garrett Williams went to the draft, and I think he got drafted by Arizona.
Yeah, second round, I believe.
that was just like a lower name guy on the boards at that position that, I mean, really filled that role nicely over there in Arizona. And is like one of their key players.
Yeah.
So I think Marlowe X could have a very similar outcome to that as well.
Yeah, I know that the segment isn't necessarily where we think Orange players are going to end up in the NFL, but I think one more guy that we got to keep on our radars is Jackson Meeks. He was someone who actually did play in the Shrine Bowl and got tremendous production. He set up Team East in the red zone a couple of times, which was really exciting. I saw a lot of great film of him catching passes in transition. Just really exciting. Another guy who was great for us, and we knew about him all season long. But I think a lot of these NFL scouts are finding out about him for the first time.
Yeah, and I even saw, I forget whose draft board it was, that like Quinn Allen was ranked the number three running back in the draft this year, which is awesome. I mean, us as Syracuse fans and seeing him play in the Dome almost every week this season, I mean, we know what he's capable of. We know the type of player he is. We saw what he did in the Holiday Bowl, and him just leading the Orange to victory so many different times against UNLV, that crazy run to get into the end zone to win that game. I mean, those type of plays, that's what NFL scouts drool about. They absolutely love it. I'm excited to see where all these different players end up. I think maybe on the show leading up to the NFL draft, the three of us do our own mock draft.
That sounds fun.
Oh, we're doing a mock draft.
I think that'll be fun.
Has been decided.
I think that'll definitely be fun to break down. But one more thing I want to break down before we head to break. The best thing I saw this week.
Oh, here we go.
It's a little bit different, but the Four Nations tournament that is replacing the NHL All-Star break kicked off 2 nights ago with Canada defeating Sweden, and then last night the United States defeated Finland for the first 2 opening matchups. I love this tournament. I think it is so awesome for all these different countries to have a sense of pride, while also seeing their favorite NHL stars competing against each other. And I think the players are buying into it as much as the fans are.
Yeah.
I mean, that game, I don't know if you guys saw it, the Canada-Sweden game.
Oh, it was so cool.
Canada got off to a hot start early.
Yeah. They were dominant.
Sweden punched back, tying the game 3-3 late in the third. And then Canada takes it home in overtime.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different overtime in the Four Nations tournament than it is in the NHL. At the Four Nations, it's a 10-minute overtime, 3v3. So the guys were definitely gassed by the end of that. But Jasper Bratt, one of the players who plays for the Devils, who played on Team Sweden, says he loved it, and he would definitely be open to seeing that in the NHL. Because honestly, I don't know about you guys, I hate seeing the shootout. I feel like my team always ends up on the losing side of that. But
also Luka Doncic is a Laker.
Yeah,
didn't mention that. Yeah, Luka Doncic is a Laker.
Holy cow,
that's pretty cool.
There was a lot of great sports news. The Luka Doncic stuff. I mean, that was just insane. But Four Nations, I mean, that was such an amazing event to watch on TV. Like, I wasn't sure how the pageantry of all of that was going to go, but I'm not sure why I was confused, because I love the Olympics, right? Like any sort of event, sporting event that showcases different cultures and different patriotisms and nationalisms, I think it's really exciting. And I thought it was so beautifully done, just like watching each country sing their national anthem and have different sections of the crowd, standing in solidarity with their country. It was really, really cool. And then I think sometimes the casual hockey fans, they forget that, your favorite hockey player is maybe not from America, right? Like maybe their nationality is a different country's.
Most of the players I feel like aren't from America.
Right. So like you might end up rooting for Team Canada. My best friend, she's a big Team Canada fan, and we turned on the Four Nations, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, where's Team USA? And she's like, no, like, this guy's on this team. And I was like, wow, I'm learning so much through this new sort of all-star format. It's really cool.
It has been awesome to see. We talked about the trade deadline kind of overshadowing the excitement leading up to the Super Bowl. Let's break down the Super Bowl right after this break here on Newhouse Afternoon.
Cool. No Sean Diddy Combs on this segment.
Yeah, wait, could you break that down for us,
Yeah, I need
Jordan?
some context, Jordan.
Jordan, if you can.
Okay.
It's all good.
Also, for the next segment, if we run out of stuff or whatever, I have like.
Is employed.
Was it Mike?
Sheesh. Wait, what were you saying?
You gotta study the roster better. There's only one person who hosted Newhouse afternoon show who's now employed at Galaxy Media.
I don't know. I don't know.
I could do some research.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Oh, I thought it was like recent. I thought it was like with all of the stuff coming out about him.
Well, it definitely. I think it was like last September. So
Oh, it was new.
It was out there. It was definitely out there. People knew.
out there. I mean, the guy wasn't like in prison yet, but also like my mouth didn't stay closed after I heard the name. They definitely got a "What are you doing" during the break.
That's funny.
That's funny. Jordan, do you prefer fruity flavored things or chocolate flavored things? That makes sense. I get that.
It's a good answer.
Sometimes you just kind of feel like a total dirtbag who wants to eat a bunch of chocolate.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes like, oh, some fruit.
I get that. I get it. I do too. I actually totally do.
There's nothing like a good fruit cup.
Like nice sliced cut fruit.
You know what? You know what
Clip-
a fruit
clip
cup.
that.
You
Put
know,
it online.
You know what a fruit
Yeah.
cup is? It's the definition of fundamental. That
Yeah.
fruit cups are fundamental.
No, I've had this take for a while. Cantaloupe and honeydew are the lettuce of fruit salad, and no one will ever convince me. Those things are in every single fruit cup.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
You're talking about a fruit tray.
Wait, what'd you say?
A fruit cup? Like,
Like a dole fruit.
Yeah, like
Oh.
what they serve. like
yes,
I'm not
yes.
talking about that.
That they serve.
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about. I'm talking about
what?
mixed fruit.
Jordan, we are
Guys,
on two
I think
completely different
we are
wavelengths.
all confusing each other.
Yeah, we're on two completely different wavelengths right now.
He was saying the Dole. Yeah, he was saying the Dole fruit cup with like the little juice in it, and it's like the chopped
I like that
peaches
they
or
can't.
pears.
I like that they can't hear Jordan. So
Yeah.
I sound like a schizo, right?
Yeah, we sound crazy. We are deliberating chocolate versus fruit again.
Huh. I think the oranges, the small little orange tins.
Oh
that
yeah,
have-
the mandarin orange ones.
Those are good.
Those
I
ones.
like those.
Those are good.
I
The
like
peaches,
those.
Jordan, I don't know about that.
Yo, the edible arrangement white
I'm sorry.
chocolate covered
I'm sorry,
pineapple is like my favorite thing.
I've
ever.
had that. It's very
It's
good.
so good.
I like that. That's
It's
good.
so good.
Ooh.
Feel free to send that to me.
Guys, I haven't eaten anything yet today.
I will drop my address
Fans,
if anybody needs
yes,
it.
fans. Please send us an edible arrangement.
Should I?
Please send us an edible arrangement. That'd be awesome.
I will drop my.
That would be so messed up.
I would
be
drop my
so
address
upset.
for an edible
I'd be
arrangement.
so upset.
Jordan, you have to call the police if that happens. That would be messed
Yeah.
up.
Nah, I know it. I
yeah.
know it'd be James Wildhack. I know it would.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so funny. I love him. I just
Jordan,
wrote Nick Whaley a Valentine.
Did you like mine and Whaley's show last week? We got Jordan was listening hard because we were talking about food, and Jordan said that he was so locked into that conversation when we were talking about the best Super Bowl snack.
Love it.
Yeah,
Oh, I love
we
it.
were.
The show. It's a good show.
Heck yeah.
Wait, did you say 30 seconds, Jordan?
Yes.
All right, my bad.
No, you're fine. No worries. What else was I gonna say?
Ooh, all right.
7.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome into Newhouse Afternoon. I'm Ari Feinstein with Maria Wainscott. Oh my gosh, sorry, I lost your name.
You're fine.
Maria Wainscott and Jacob Charnow. Wrapping things up here on our show, but with one final segment. We didn't get to talk much about the Super Bowl. We haven't done the show in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
so we didn't get a chance to break it down. Maria, what were your first thoughts on the halftime show by Kendrick Lamar.
Right into the half.
Wow. We're just going to scoop past that first half where the Chiefs were down 34-0.
Yeah.
But
I want to hear the halftime
we'll talk about that in a second.
Where do you think it ranked also?
Okay,
in halftime
this is
shows,
great.
In halftime shows.
I have some strong feelings about the halftime show. I personally loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I love Kendrick Lamar, and not just in terms of like the Drake-Kendrick beef. I'm on Kendrick's side. I just love Kendrick Lamar. I think he's been iconic from the jump, and I think his music is fantastic. And I think it just takes a true genius to put together the kind of songs that he does. Like he like fuses history, poetry, and song all together. And everything that you watch from him, whether it's a music video, whether you listen to a song, or whether you're watching the Super Bowl halftime performance, there are Easter eggs there for people to uncover. And for someone like me who like loves music, that's always a field day to just get to watch something like that. Wow, I cannot believe that he dropped Drake's name on international television, the biggest event of the year, one of the most live watched events of all year. I just thought it was unbelievable. I thought everything from the choreography to the outfits to the music mashup, I thought it was fantastic.
Let me tell you, it was the most entertaining, that halftime show was way more entertaining than the first half, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I love Kendrick, so like I loved this halftime show a lot,
great.
and I also thought it was so cool and so petty to have Serena Williams up there. I mean, you have two of Drake's exes up on that stage. Like,
it was pretty good.
I don't know. If that was me, I'm not taking that. But I love Kendrick. I think that was an awesome show, and at the same time, like Kendrick, like, all of a sudden, he's always been like massive and very famous, but like he's really getting into like that mainstream light now, and it's good because I mean, Kanye fell off; he can go. So we need need someone at the top of the game, and Kendrick's going to be that guy. Like, if we're being honest, that's just how it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think about it?
I loved it. I mean, I mentioned that it was the most entertaining part of that first, honestly, the entire game.
It was really cool.
The game wasn't, obviously it wasn't one of the best Super Bowls, especially being a Giants fan and seeing the Eagles come out on top. Not fun. Today is the parade, so
there we go.
That's exciting stuff. Happy for Saquon Barkley.
I will say,
unfortunate he did it with the Eagles, though.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the Eagles, though, like, this Super Bowl parade is going to be nuts. Also, 2017, my favorite Super Bowl speech ever was Jason Kelce going through he's talking about, like, Boston Scott's too small, all of this, all this, and he's like, that's the whole team. It's just so much, like, it's so passionate there in Philly. And, like, full disclosure, I obviously thought the Chiefs were going to win, and I put my money where my mouth was, and it didn't work out. But I mean,
lost some money
good.
On the Chiefs
I'm happy for Philly. I have no bad blood towards the Eagles. Obviously, like, I'm an AFC fan, so I don't care about the Eagles at all. And I also have I have a family member that is an Eagles fan. So
I love that.
Happy for them too.
I was just shocked, you guys. I mean, I know the last time we were on our show 2 weeks ago, I predicted the Eagles to win 27-26.
Oh wow.
That was a really close prediction. Nowhere near what actually happened, but wow, was I glad to be wrong. That was just a fantastic first half if you really wanted to see the Chiefs get beat. I mean, really, we were talking on this show about how we didn't see a possibility of the Chiefs getting beat handily. We said, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes, he's the king of playing in the margin. He loves to win a tight game. All of that is true, but the Eagles had the Chiefs number. It was it was so clear from the get-go, and it was so funny. I think I have been traumatized from talking with you guys about the Chiefs winning so many games, especially, over the Buffalo Bills. I was just traumatized from the get-go of watching the Super Bowl. The Eagles, they get a sack. And I'm like, oh no, it's too good to be true. Just wait for the next drive. They'll air it out to someone down the field, and it'll be fine.
And then they had like 9 sacks.
They had like 6 or 9 sacks in a row, and I was like, wait a second, can I actually get excited about this? Can I actually see the Eagles winning this thing? So that was sort of my internal monologue the entire time.
I think one of the biggest things also watching that Super Bowl is everyone was expecting the Chiefs to come back. Everyone was like, all right, this is going to be the drive that Mahomes does it. And then when it didn't happen,
certainly thought they were going to come back multiple times throughout that game.
And then when it didn't happen, everyone was like, all right, this is going to be the drive that Mahomes starts to come back. But the Eagles, their defense were swarming all night. I personally think, this might be a hot take. It might not. I think their defense deserved NFL MVP.
I completely agree.
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, I completely agree with
Cooper
that.
DeJean.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
On his birthday.
Oh my
picks
gosh.
his
birthday.
first career interception in the
For a
big on the
touchdown,
biggest
yeah.
This is what we were
stage.
saying. These big sports books, they were pushing the narrative that it was Saquon Barkley's birthday.
Yeah,
that he
they
was
were.
only most bet on player to score in that game, could not find the end zone. Even if John Dotson goes down at the 1, they're gonna.
Nope.
We know what they're gonna do, and that was very frustrating. But Cooper DeJean, man, what a game from that kid from Iowa. Like,
Yeah, no,
he's awesome.
yeah, and I completely agree with you, Ari. I mean, I think every single college football team should use the Eagles, their defense, as an example for film to watch for how to swarm a quarterback who's comfortable moving around in the pocket. It was just fantastic. I mean, they were just drilling Patrick Mahomes. It was really cool to watch just as a football lover.
I think the biggest thing to take away from that game is the quote, defense wins championships. I feel like that was a common theme throughout this game. The Eagles proved it with their defense. I mean, the depth that they have is completely unreal. And that's that with the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This has been Newhouse Afternoon. I'm Ari Feinstein alongside Maria Wainscott and Jacob Charnow. We will see you guys in 2 weeks.
This is Orange Nation.
The head coach of the Orange, Adrian Autry, brought to you every week by Oswego County Mutual. And
if we don't get the job done, I'm frustrated and I'm going to challenge them. I'm not